days. At the least. For my crime, my crime was committed in 2004, right? You know, if it was committed in 2005, I would have got a 35 rec. My conspiracy to murder charge in 2004 and before, the sentence was a determinate life sentence. I mean, a determined life sentence. I'm gonna wait, it was a discretionary life sentence. That's what it was. It was a discretionary life sentence or a long determinate sentence. That's what you could get for my crime. 2004 under. 2005 you can get 35 to 40 rec. So the sentence before 2004, the judge could use his discretion and give you a life sentence if you were convicted of conspiracy to murder. Right? Not murder, it's mandatory murder. Conspiracy to murder is not mandatory in 2-4. Murder is mandatory, conspiracy is not. Mandatory means you're getting a life sentence with a mandatory 25 years. Meaning you do the full 25 years before you consider for parole. Conspiracy to murder at that time wasn't. A year later, it becomes mandatory. If I would have done that crime a year later in 2005, I would have been sitting in prison now with still 15 years left to do. Longer. I'd still have 20 years left to do. But because my crime was committed in 2004 and I was convicted in 2007, I was on remand for 3 years. Beat loads of other offences, and then the one with the less evidence I got convicted on, which was the conspiracy. So I was on remand for 3.5 years, went in 2004, got convicted in the middle of 2007. And everyone thought the judge was sentencing me under the new law. So did I. My barristers and everyone were telling me they're talking about borderline contract killing. And when you start hearing contract killing in murders, you're fucked. Do you understand what I'm saying? When you start hearing contract murders, it's next level. Say you just got a gun murder, okay? You know, if someone's carried a contract out for you, it's different jail. They look at it completely different. So that's what they were saying to me. It's borderline contract killing. Why? Because they said I'd paid someone to do the murder. They couldn't get me on the murder, so they charged me on the conspiracy to murder. And when they've charged me by myself, they had me in custody for 6 months, going to trial, conspiring with others unknown. And it was weak, dead weak. I was going to get off with it. Do you understand? The day before my trial, they burst loads of doors in and nicked loads of kids off our estate. And then came to court the next day. This is a trick they use on all yous. It's a tactic to keep you in custody longer so they can build a bigger case on you. So what they'll do is, they nicked all the kids that I used to chill with, come in the corner next day and said, there's been developments in the case. There's been more people arrested. We need more adjournment. And this was a time when the custody time limit was getting stuck to. So if they went over the custody time limit, you were getting out. Unless they had a legitimate excuse to extend the custody time limit. And that's the excuse to use. We've had developments, there's been further arrests. Even if them arrests don't do fuck all, and they all get 47.3 bail, an hour later you've been adjourned. Do you get what I'm saying? So my first trial, after so many years, there's 5 of us in the dock. 5 of us in the dock. By the time I get to the trial by myself, the 3rd trial, back in the day you had this double jeopardy law, and what it meant is if you got a first trial and it was a hung jury, and then you got a second trial and it was a hung jury or something fucked up in the trial, well then you were not guilty, you were acquitted. But what they done with me was ceased me second trial halfway through and severed Mark Richardson from me, let him continue with that jury and then people in that trial, and severed me from him because they let evidence in that was biased towards me or something. It was a deliberate act what they done. So now they severed me, let Mark carry on. Mark got acquitted. A year later, like, he got his 38 ref. But when he was on the murder with me, he got acquitted on it. Now what the prosecution and the judges said is, because we halted your trial halfway through the second one, you didn't have 2 full trials. So we're allowed to try you again by yourself. So my first trial was 28 weeks. 28 weeks my first trial was, with 5 cold Ds. And they never give me, because I'm having conspiracy to supply firearms trial, 4-week one, beating it, getting 2 days rest in Strangeways and starting a 28-day murder fucking trial. Got a hung jury on that. 3 cold Ds, get acquitted. 3 days later, I'm now on a conspiracy to supply Class A trial for 3.5 weeks. I'm coming off that. A week later, going back onto my new murder trial, which is now 18 weeks, and I've got 2 cold Ds. I'm getting kicked, they're getting acquitted off that. I've got another trial down there for threats to kill on coppers and all this shit. Just mad things coming at me. I'll get acquitted on that and then come back on the murder charge again for a 2-day trial. Now I'm by myself. 2-day trial. When they first come at me, my cell had boxes of A5 paper, A4 paper, 18 boxes of depositions. All the evidence was on me cold Ds. They had about this much evidence on me, and you know what the evidence was? Not lying to you. Second-hand hearsay. And it had been the first time anyone was convicted on hearsay evidence. That was the first time anyone was convicted on hearsay evidence like that. Where did the hearsay evidence come from? You know when Craig Barker's shot dead? And Craig's mum's in a fucking mess. I've give Craig's ma a list of names and said, don't say nothing, I believe it's these. And David Regan's name was on that list of 5 names. So when Sheila's got the PLO assigned to her, PLO means police liaison officer, and every time a mum's lost a son in a murder or whatever, you'll have one of these officers assigned to the family to comfort them and let them know what's happening and the progress in the case of any. So Sheila's broke down to this policewoman, this PLO, and went, Darren's give me these names. I'm not aware of this at the moment, you get what I'm saying? I'm in custody. So now they've popped up with Sheila Barker as a prosecution witness. Now Craig's mum is a prosecution witness against me. I've thought, wow, that was a bit of a daft move by the prosecution. Go on, bring her. Fucking right. So they brought her, so now I'm on trial And the only witnesses they've got on me is Sheila Barker and this policewoman who Sheila Barker had meant to have told. That's the evidence on me. 2 witnesses. 2-day trial it's listed for. It was a 28-week trial, 18 boxes. 18-week trial, 7 boxes. 2-day trial for me. Pile of paper like that. It's all the evidence on me. They had loads, but it's all gone because it was used in the other trials and it never happened. Most of the evidence on me was Nicola Curry. The bulk of the evidence on everyone was Nicola Curry, no one else. And that's Willie Moore's mistress for the last fucking 15, 20 years. Lost my chain of thought there when I was getting to the pivotal moment. Dear Lord, says Tink. Oh my God, what's wrong with you? What's up? What is wrong with you? What are you on about? What are you saying wow for? So we're going on trial now. I've got hearsay evidence. They call Sheila Barker, Craig's mum, and she goes completely against them. No, I never said that to the policewoman. I don't know whether she did. The policeman, I don't, anyway. No, that policewoman's lying. I never said that. Now this is their witness. It's not a defence witness. We just go on and you call it. If you're calling that for a prosecution witness, you fucking do that. Why? Because it's not like I fell out with it at this time. I haven't fell out with it anyway, but you get what I'm saying. So now they've pulled her in, using her as a prosecution witness against me. And she's got in the dock and just went, no, that policewoman's lying. This is in front of the jury. The policewoman's lying. I never said this to her. She's lying. The judge halted the trial. Said to the jury, discount Miss Barker's evidence. She's a volatile witness. Meaning she's switched on the prosecution for me. So now they've kicked their evidence out and kept the policewoman. So now I've got a policewoman in the dock. Even though Sheila had been in the dock in the morning saying the policewoman's lying. I never done this or said this to that policewoman. They kicked her out, said you're lying. You're not a prosecution witness now, you're volatile. You're helping the defence. Jury, don't listen to her evidence. And now we've got this policewoman in going, yeah, Mrs. Barker give me these names and David Regan's names on the list. And they convicted me on that hearsay evidence. Convicted me on that policewoman. How fucked is that? That's how I was convicted. Cunts, aren't they? But you know what? If I would have been told by my legal team at the very beginning, you're under the old law. If you plead guilty, you get an 18. If it's a not guilty, found guilty, you get an 18. If you plead guilty, we'll get you a third off, which would have reduced it to 12 years. If I would have pled guilty, I would have got 12 years, got out in 8 years. But because they're telling me you're getting a 35 rec, I've thought, fuck this, I've got nothing to lose. Let's ride it. If they would have said and given me the correct advice at the beginning, I would have went guilty in 2-4 straight away. Instead of dragging all the bullshit, because they said 35 rec. Fuck that, I've got nothing to lose. Might as well try me fucking luck, innit? So I got convicted on second-hand hearsay. The judge, in his summons up, stated there's no direct evidence linking Mr. Gee to this crime. But think of the circumstantial evidence. That's it. The prosecution stood up as well. There is absolutely no direct evidence linking Mr. Gee to this crime. but we want you to use the situation and think about the circumstances surrounding Mr. Gee. And they convicted me like that. You know what I noticed straight away? You know when the jury's going out, you had this little Asian woman. He's dead guilty. I could read her fucking lips before she even got out. 2 hours later, 2 hours it took them. Think about it. I've just had a hung jury that was given 5 weeks or something to think about it. They couldn't decide. Here I am now by myself with nothing, and I got convicted in 2 hours. And all the paperwork has gone. Been trying to get all the paperwork. Why? Because there's some proper clarifying information in there that will clear a lot of their fucking dirty allegations against me right up. Do you get what I'm saying? It's all gone. It's weird the way it's gone. It's not weird actually. What's weird is you've got an ex-soldier, SAS grade, being given the military cross by the Queen. Do you understand how important you are as a soldier when you kneel in front of the Queen and she gives you that cross on your chest? What's weird is, why was that soldier on the streets of Anfield looking on shooting a young man dead? You want me to just believe it was just drug related? Fuck. The very fact that there was no police in the vicinity when this shit went down, that fact alone tells me the police are being cleared out of that vicinity so this shit could go down without any hiccups. The only hiccup in the whole situation was I'd swapped seats a minute before. What makes me think this, because it is what it is, when you've got explosives going off outside police stations, when you've got explosions going on in the city of Liverpool, and the establishments and the police and all this are trying their hardest to fucking... Don't think they won't stand by and let you get shot dead by their affiliates in the gangland world. Of course they fucking do. Don't think it's never happened, and don't think it won't happen again. It happens. I was one of them. They had to get rid of fucking me. Why? Because I'm a serious threat to the establishment. Allegedly, I'm taking on the police in the city. There's police stations being bombed all over the city, and they're blaming me for it. Serious, I was getting told off some high-level authoritarian people in law in the city. I'm public enemy number one right now. And I was public enemy number one right up until my arrest. Serious, mate? Do you know how hard it is to get on that? Public enemy number one? You've got to be fucking dangerous to get on there. That's what they had me as in the city. 2, 3, 2, 4, public enemy number one. And they weren't stopping until they got me. And they got me for whatever they fucking could. And they got me on that conspiracy to murder with the shittest evidence you could get me on. They got me on it. No one else would have got convicted on that. No one. I deserved the conviction, like, I'm not denying the conviction. It was just bullshit how they got the conviction. If they would have stuck to what they were meant to do, they wouldn't have got the conviction. So they had to pull the tricks they pulled to get me convicted. And I deserved it, to be honest. I deserved the 30 rec. I was over the fucking moon when I got a straight 18. When he just switched it on everyone in the courtroom. All the feds in the gallery and that, when I got me conviction, they were all fucking jumping like Liverpool had just scored a winner against Man U. All laughing at me in the dock, thinking I'm getting a 35-40 rec. Bursting out, getting on the phone to their higher up. We got him, he's getting sentenced in an hour. The judge didn't want no reports and nothing, said I'm going to sentence you now. So they're all back in now in the dock, thinking I'm about to get a 30. The judge just shit on them all. when I'm sentencing you under the old law, because your offence was committed in 2004, I'm going to say, I'm going to sentence you under that law in 2004, which means you will not receive a mandatory sentence today. You should have seen the feds, mates. It's fucking gay, that. So now I'm sitting there, I've been thinking for 3 years, so I prepped myself to take a 40 on the chin here. If I get convicted and getting a 40, I drummed it into me. I'm fully expecting to get a 35-40 here, so he's telling me to stand up. Stood up, just thinking, shit, take it like a man. Don't forget, I'm only fucking 26 here, looking at a 40, right? 30 to 40, so you always put the worst. 40, expect the 40. If I get a 31 rec, I'm sweet. That's what I was thinking. That's what you do though, in them situations. You expect the worst. Trust me, if you get a year under, you're buzzing. And that's what I always used to do with my sentences. You could get 15 years here, Darren. Bank, I'm getting 17 years. Get a 6, I'm over the fucking moon. Like, so when he's saying now, stand up, Mr. G, I don't need reports, I'm going to sentence you today. Thinking, oh shit, I'm not going to lie, mate. You know what went through my mind when I've stood up? You know the only thing that went through my mind, people? I've got no kids. It's the only thing that ran through my mind, you know. When I was convicted and I'm thinking I'm getting this 40 finished. The only thing that ran through my mind is, I'm done. I've got no kids outside. That's the end of my bloodline. That's all I was thinking when I was in that dock, you know. And then he started reeling this mad shit off, blah, blah, blah. Your offence was committed in 2004, pre-2005 Goodyear ruling set out by your honour, blah, blah, fucking blah. I'm thinking, whoa, slow down here, fucking chap. What are you saying to me? I'm going to sentence you under the old law. Straight away, I'm just thinking, what the fuck? You can see all these in panic mode. You can see the prosecution's team, which is about fucking 6 deep, all thinking, shit, what can we do here? He started reeling his me convictions off. Now, Mr. G, I've got two choices with this sentence. I can give you a discretionary life, depending on your criminal history, or a long determinate. I'm looking at your criminal history, and the most recent conviction I can correlate to your offence is the threats to kill you was convicted of. Like you committed in 2001 in Walton Prison, when you threatened to burn a prison officer's house down. So now, because that conviction was a threat to kill on SOA in Walton, got charged up for this mad threat. They won't give me 4 fucking years for it, mate, unless I pleaded guilty. So I pled guilty and got fucking 15 months for it. Now, my man's looking at it as if that's enough to give me a discretionary life, to see if that conviction makes me a threat to the general public. And it didn't. And like I said earlier on, I've been committing crime all my life, but it was very rare I was convicted, especially when you could get acquitted for lack of witnesses. So I had no convictions, very small. So when he's looking at them, there's one conviction when I'm 14, Section 20 wounding, and then there's no others. It's all like commercial burglary, 2, driving while banned, possession of an offensive weapon like knuckle dusters and a knife or something, like, you know, when I'm a kid. So when he's saying there's no mad thing going on there, he's decided to give me a discretionary life sentence. I mean, a determinate life sentence. And I'll never forget the words, you've heard me repeat them. I don't deem you a threat to the general public in the city of Liverpool. I deem you a threat to the criminal fraternity in the city of Liverpool, and for that reason I'm giving you a long determinate sentence of 18 years. Take him down. Fucking buzzing. Landed back in strange ways like I'd just lift 2 safes off my shoulders. Honest, within a month I've put 3 stone back on. Within a month I've put 3 stone back on. The stress ruining me. I was waking up with patches in my hair. Early signs of that thing. Should have seen what the system done to me, mate. I didn't get a breather for 3 years. Had 6 months on remand and then boom, 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 boom. Trials for 2.5 years. I'm not bullshitting you, mate. I was going to court straight up for about 18 months, living on snack packs. I couldn't even eat of a night. I was eating Weetabix and shit. Stressed. Nearly getting convicted by dickheads like fucking Elliot MacDonald. John Murphy's grafters got nicked down there, decided to tell the police that we'd put shotguns in his mouth and made him deal drugs with us, and we hadn't. So I've ended up with all these big conspiracy to blackmail, conspiracy to possess firearms on this one kid's account. That story is mad by itself, mate. He's from Toxteth, this kid, still grafting with them all. Stood up in the dock and tried to get us sunk for John Murphy and that. Mad. Off it, mate, what they tried to do to me, them feds, and the snitches that they've always had in your community, they used them on me in trial to try and ruin me. The Murphys, mate, John Murphy's are fucking wrong. Elliot MacDonald, wrong. Dennis Green, wrong. All of them. Got the paperwork, but I can't get it. But people that was involved in my trial can tell you. Paddy Dillon was involved in one trial with that Elliot MacDonald, sorry. Danny was on a trial with that Elliot MacDonald. There was 4 of us, Cody's. He said we'd all done mad shit to him, and we hadn't. But he was John Murphy's grafter, and I knew John Murphy put this up to him. That's a story by itself, that with him, mate. How the fuck the police use this? Look, I'll give you a quick insight to it. You've got this group of people grafting in Northwich, and they're grafting for John Murphy in Northwich, Tony Wales and all that firm. You've just seen all them get 40s and that for kidnapping that kid in the garage and punishing them. It's the same firm that was snitching on me years ago. Honest to God. So we've had this little group of Elliot MacDonald and that going to Nantwich, I think, or Northwich, one of them, Nantwich or one of them, and they're selling drugs. And while they're down there, they get put under observations. And this Elliot MacDonald's, when he's getting a pull, he's getting pulled in his brother's name, his younger brother's name. So every time he's getting pulled by the feds down there who are monitoring his drug dealing, he's giving his brother's details in. And when he's being arrested and 47-3 bailed, he's in his brother's name. So he's lying to the police every time he's engaging with them, right? Now they've nicked him. I'm already on remand on my murder thing, but at the it's weak as fuck, and the police are panicking. Why? Because they know if I get out, people are fucking dying all over the place. They know it. Do you understand what I'm saying? So all of a sudden, I've got a police production. I've been in custody for 13, 14 months or something. All of a sudden I've got this police production. I get brought alongside fucking police station. And they're hitting me with all this mad shit. This kicked me out on ID parade. Picked me out, this Elliot MacDonald, on ID parade. Don't even know the fucker. Never met him in my life. Serious? Never met him in my whole life. Don't even know who the fuck he was. And now I'm sat here on 2 conspiracies to supply Class A drugs, conspiracy to fucking aggravated burglary with firearms, This is what, because he's saying in the statements, we've kicked his door in, put guns in his mouth and made him sit. So aggravated burger, they fire. All this mad shit. And he's doing this under a fake name. Now let me correct that. So I'm in custody. He's under a fake name, Grafton. He's been nicked under this fake name. He's gone into a YP prison. Think about this. He's gone into he's an adult. He's used his younger brother's ID, date of birth and all this. When he's been nicked and charged with supplying in Northwich, they've nicked him and put him in custody under his brother's age and details. So he's gone into a YP nick and he's in there for 6 weeks. All of a sudden, the 5-0, the MIT, murder investigation team, that's got me on my murder offences and anything else they can fucking launch at me. They've now went up to this fucking prison that he's in, took him out on the Friday, produced him in court the Friday later, so they had him for 8 fucking days in their custody. Produced him in court the Friday later in his own name, in his own date of birth. In them 8 days, he'd just been singing mad shit to them about me and the shit I've been doing with him, and I hadn't done none of it. So now, I get gate arrested, I've been picked out, I've got a fucking I've been charged up with the most serious offences on me. On the back of this Elliot McDonald's. I'm thinking, what the fuck? I'm now in Minshull Street Crown Court in front of fucking Madison, the biggest judge you've got in Manchester. And he's allowing this evidence in. Even though you've got lie under fake name, lie under fake name, lie under fake name, go into court in a fake name, into the police station charged in a fake name, into prison in a fake name, took out by the MIT who's nicking me for all mad shit, kept for 8 days, and now this Madison saying he can be believed. He can be believed by a jury. How the fuck can you believe this? He's lied right through his process, and now they're giving him the benefit of the doubt because it's against me. We've got him in the dock. And he's in the dock, and he's fucking writing us off. But then he starts fucking up. And me barrister just gets him in a fucking web of tangle, and the judge just goes, I've heard enough. Just stop, I've heard enough. You, get out my... Because he's come from jail. You, get out my courtroom. Started giving the prosecution loads of shit. Mr. G acquitted. But you've got this 308 Remington rifle. I'll go guilty, Your Honour. Bang. That was it. Obviously, it can be long-winded. They'll just give you the fast version of what happened with them. That's John Murphy and all that. So when you hear me screaming about John Murphy, Frankie Christian, pure fucking wrong'uns. Frankie Christian is Wheatman's godfather. That's why he's always had a problem with me. Do you get what I'm saying? Pure fucking wrong'uns. When I've got out of jail and off my licence and I've landed back in my marsh, the first fucking rats that came to see me was that John Murphy and that. Are we alright on him? Are we alright on him? No, we're not, lad. You owe me 2,500 quid from fucking years ago. I want me dough off you. We never robbed you, lad. Yeah, you fucking did. Bailed, that's the last. And then, so straight away I've got a problem, haven't I? Because years ago when I was doing commercial burgs, we robbed this shop, took all the cigarettes and stashed them in his cousin's called Terence Riley's. And we used to sell them to this little fat fella called George Kelly that had the shop at the top of the road. And he'd give us good money. And the amount of cigarettes there was like 4.5 grams worth cash. So we've planted them in this garden, fucked off. Come back, they're gone. They'd sold them to George on the sly, thinking George wouldn't tell us, and denied it. So it was just one of them things. Gang of fucking smackheads, because that's what they was really. Dogs. Do graft with you and rob it and keep shit and push stuff in the socks and, you know, all that dirty shit. When you're on a graft with your mates, you're not undercutting, you're splitting it right down the middle with everyone that's there. These, it's not because they're harder than us, you know, they just be sly bastards. We'd put 65,000 bifters in the back room. We haven't counted them, but they'll take 10,000, stash them in the back room and sell them down there and gain themselves a few grand without us knowing it. Do you get what I'm saying? Dogs. So anyway, years later, when all this shit's going on with whatever they're dealing with, they've got the kid to snitch on me. Snitch on us, Danny, Paddy, Bonehead. Snitched on quite a few actually. Dragged us all through the court system on some bullshit. And he's still out grafting with them for years. Mixing with other fucking scousers and that on their... He's sound. Do you know how many drug dealers there is in Anfield that snitched on us? And these so-called big hard knocks have still had them mixing with them. Why? Because they snitched on us for the hard knocks. It's the only way to tolerate it, the only reason to tolerate it still in these groups. If you're a snitch, you get kicked out unless your leader's told you to snitch, you sweet. That's what happens, mate. And that's what happened with us. All these little helmets were getting used to target us by these shithouse dickheads who couldn't do fucking nothing to us. Nothing. None of them. Even their leaders like your Farleys and that, they couldn't do shit to us. Nothing. Yeah, he fucked them all. Going into a little mad space there where I don't need to go into. Children, protect your future. This is my life. The names I'm mentioning impacted on my life in negative ways. John Murphy and all this, why'd you get that kid to snitch on me? Don't start sitting there like you're not snitches. Let's think about it. How many of your family members have snitched on me and your associates? Let's think about it, right? My murder trial in 2004, they had a snitch. The prosecution was using all crazy details in my conspiracy to murder trial. And what they were trying to say is, we want to use this information that we've gained off an informant, but we don't want to disclose the informant. And we don't want the informant coming to court to be cross-examined and blah, blah, blah. And we went, fuck that. Why the fuck is this judge going to allow this? So they're having PII hearings, public immunity interest. In other words, they can keep certain information out the courtroom and anyone else from knowing because it could impact on the community and something of interest within the community. Does that make sense? It can jeopardise shit, operations, future operations. If we find out about it, we can jeopardise future operations. So we're arguing in court now. We've got like a 3-day hearing to argue about this snitch. And that judge has agreed with us. The evidence that this snitch has given you is fucking powerful. The defence have got to have the right to question this. You can't just put this in front of a jury and not allow the defendants to see if it's honest, see if the person that's saying this is honest, see if it's integrity. So what the judge has turned round after 3 days and said to the prosecution is, now it's all being dealt with, we've won the argument, and now the court's back in. And what he said is, if you don't disclose the identification of your informant at 2 o'clock this afternoon, I'm acquitting all these defendants. This is that Judge Madison saying it to that Eden, because the Scouse prosecutors came to Manchester to deal with me. So that judge has given them an ultimatum, the prosecution. Tell them who the informant is, or they're getting acquitted at 2 o'clock this afternoon. So we all go back down. Don't forget there's 5 of us, including Anthony Christian. Anthony Christian is Frankie Christian's brother. Anthony Christian has lived with Kevin Wheatman all his junior life, because his ma and dad passed when they were kids. Kevin Wheatman and Anthony Christian Yinka lived with a fella, a baldy-headed fella with glasses. His surname was Christian. So now we get adjourned for lunch. The prosecution's had the ultimatum, tell them who the grass is. We go downstairs for lunch. We have our legal with the solicitor. You get a quick legal and then you go in and have your snack pack and you have a little hour chill. We've all gone on legals, including Anthony Christian. We all come back off our legal, go into our holding cell, but Anthony Christian hasn't come back. But we're none of the wiser at this moment. Something's iffy, but we're not on it. We're downstairs blazing spliffs and eating our food. So now, it's getting late. Where's Yinka? Where's Yinka? Oh, we don't know. We don't know. Next minute, we get called up in court. Yinka's not there. We find out when we get in court that Yinka had been up before us and been acquitted of all charges. So now Anthony Christian's been acquitted of all charges. So now they've got to share the information of who the informer is. Otherwise, we're getting acquitted. The informer was Tony Christian, Wheatman's dad. So when I've got out of custody, I'm not screaming nothing about this. Why? Because I don't want to jeopardise my nephew's life. Why? Because my brother has got kids to Wheatman's cousin. And the kids, Michael, Steve and Alan, Michael, Steve, Johnny, sorry. The kids train with Thomas Christian and go to Peak Fitness and all this mad shit. So I don't want to jeopardise that shit on them. And now all this shit's kicked in, where we've had to shake the hands and all this. Now I've started screaming about the grass in my murder trial being Tony Christian. Now these Christians don't like it. So now they're all thinking I'm mad. So now you've got the Broads, Frankie Christian, John Murphy, Kevin Cottrell, all these weird fucked up rats. I've got a problem with me now. Why? Because I'm saying Tony Christian is a full-blown snitch and has been for well over 10 years living on Thalmere Road. Before he moved to his flat on Walton Road, he lived smack bang on Thalmere, mate, with all them kids who graft. And apparently what was happening is this: Yinka and Kevin Wheatman were going home discussing everything with Tony Christian, and Tony Christian was going to the police with all of it. Straight up came out in my trial. Truth. So don't think for one fucking minute Yinka never followed in that footsteps. Okay? Keep it real, people. Keep it real. This is what happens when you go on murder trials. You see the substance of the people you've got fucking round you. And if you go in your undisclosed, you will see statements of people like the Farleys having their shout at you. You will see statements of all these from 20 years, all having their little stab at you in statements to the feds. But because it doesn't help the prosecution, it gets hid in the undisclosed. All of them made statements in my murder trial. All of them. I'm not just talking one Farley, I'm talking a couple of them. I'm not talking one Moore, one Curry, one Regan, one... I'm talking fucking dozens of them. All coming forwards. Character statements. I haven't even done nothing. They're just, Darren's always used guns. Darren's always kicked doors in. Darren's always done this. Just all bullshit that you didn't have to fucking say. But you had to have your fucking shout against me. And that's what it's like. You ask any serious kid that's been on M charges and went through the system and went through the motions, and they'll tell you there's pure grasses all over the fucking place, especially the ones that are shit scared of you and they can't make money when you're in existence. When you're out the picture, they can make money again. So they just do whatever they fucking can to get you gone. That's the facts of what it's like on your streets. Every dangerous kid you come across, then monopoly fucking families try and kill them. If they don't kill them, they get them lifed off. It's the fact that. It's what you had with Keegan. Same sort of setup. He just lost the plot and went all out. Do you get what I'm saying? I haven't lost the plot. Yes, Shona. And this is what's happening in every city. The families that have always worked alongside the police don't allow any fresh faces in. Have you not noticed? What families are being consistent in your area? Consistent, what do I mean? Dealing drugs for 40 years untouched. That consistent. Anyway, choose a life, not a knife. I scream at the city of Liverpool. Why? Because you've got loads of horrible, drug-taking, envious, fucked up, perverted lads killing kids, using your kids to mine drugs, using your daughters to put firearms in your houses. This is the shit they're doing. They don't give a fuck about the risk to the youth at all. As long as they're able to make that fucking money and sit in that apartment down there while your kid's getting a 10. Why? Because he was selling drugs for the twat. I can't stand it. I can't tolerate it. What does my head in fucking 10 times more is when you've got someone in your city that's proclaiming to be a big, important business person, and on the front of it, they don't deal drugs, they don't mix with child killers, they don't mix with these big firearm sellers, when in reality, they've been bang at it all their fucking lives, and now they want to change themselves with the money and launder the money. They're coming out with a beauty place, or a well-being centre, or this centre, but in reality, in here, they're dirty and poisonous fuck, and if they need to set you up to be murdered, they will. They haven't changed, they're just portraying themselves like they've changed. Fake, hypocrisy, lying bastards, and it's the worst people you can come across, mate. Honest, on one hand feeding the community, on the other killing it. And this is the way they think. They think, oh, it's alright, I've just ruined all them families, but if I throw a little bit of dough over here, that will fix that. But this is how fucked they are. And then the kid gets an addiction, ends up on the game, and you think, whoa, the kid takes a drug and ODs, and you go, ah. Yeah, karma works in horrible fucking ways, people. When karma's coming for you, it's not nice. If it can't get you, it'll get your spirit. And your spirit belongs in every child you fucking have.